The Gamasutra Job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: Renton, Washington, Wizards of the Coast, the subsidiary of Hasbro Incorporated, and the world's largest publisher of adventure games, including Magic: The Gathering trading card game and Dungeons & Dragons role-playing games, has an exciting opportunity for a senior software developer to join our Magic: The Gathering arena team. We offer competitive salaries, a great benefits package, and the excitement of working in a creative organization. But the best part of working here is that we think creating products that bring hours of enjoyment to millions around the globe is an inherently cool way to earn a living. What is this role all about? The Magic: The Gathering arena team is looking for an experienced engineer to help build and maintain scalable cloud services that will support vast legions of players. As a senior software developer, you will champion solutions across multiple technology stacks to support new and existing features. In close collaboration with designers, artists, and other engineers, you will be one of the main drivers of designs and decisions within the team. Day-to-day responsibilities for this wizard: am I qualified? Knowledge, skills and abilities. Experience creating and casting these spells. Knowledge, abilities and characteristics of the ideal wizard. Physical requirements: office environment, able to work on a computer or phone for long periods of time, with an equal opportunity affirmative action employer. The above is intended to describe the general content of and the requirements for satisfactory performance in this position. It is not to be construed as an exhaustive statement of the duties, responsibilities, or requirements of the position. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra Job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. As originally posted in the VR Devlog, my original plan for this week's post was to talk about portals. They play a prominent role in the game's narrative, and you interact with them quite a lot. They also proved quite challenging to implement in VR. Unfortunately, we are a few days behind on finishing them, so I decided to change gears. I still remember the first time I saw someone working, the aptly named Houdini. I'd be damned if it did not look like black magic to me. Frankly, I thought he was some kind of genius that was using extremely complicated software to achieve the impossible. He was making a wooden bridge suspended with ropes. What made me stare in awe was that the longer he made the bridge, the more planks appeared on their own. For those who do not know, procedural models are models that can be easily modified by the user interface. So instead of modeling just one bridge, you do the work once and have access to infinite bridge variations, with no extra effort. The bridge I saw a couple of years ago by Feline Arts. My primary occupation in Annia is programming. Until recently, I knew just enough about modeling to be able to communicate with the artists in the team. Over the holidays, I decided to give Houdini a try, and I was surprised by how easy it was to create procedural models with it. I would argue it is easier for programmers to use than it is for artists. I was instantly hooked and spent about a month trying to create the ultimate procedural column just for fun. Imagine how excited I was when Annia designed a level of risevrgame that required 3 peers standing next to each other in a small dock. We finally had an opportunity to test Houdini with our workflow. I asked Kostas for a plank, so I could get started. I created a line with variable length and distribution of points and exposed these parameters to the user interface. In a few minutes, I had the following result. Drawing the line. Then I had but to instantiate a plank on each point, and I had suddenly turned into the dark wizard that made geometry appear out of nowhere. Hocus pocus. Planka kadabra. Of course, using only one single plank made a rather boring result. Next step was to spice things up a little by having Kostas model a couple more planks. I had Houdini go over each point and randomly selected one of the 3 planks using each point's int as the seed. That worked, but since Houdini's random function is deterministic, plank 0 would be the same on all peers. That's why I exposed a random seed to the user interface. I added this seed to the previous one, making it possible to re-roll the dice at will. I also wanted the planks to change for peers of different lengths, so I added the length to the seed. Random is not always bad. Pretty varied already, right? What could we do to increase variety without creating additional planks? I know. We could randomly rotate some of the planks 180 degrees on the y-axis. IMG, https, risevrgame, com.wp content, applause, 2019 divided by 0.16-1. PNG, IMG, the 6 leftmost planks are the exact same. Risevrgame is about recently abandoned worlds empty of people. I doubt wooden structures close to the sea would stay at pristine condition without human maintenance. Kostas created 3 more planks, this time damaged, and I added them to the pool of available planks. Additionally, I exposed a damage property that would decide what percentage of the pier would be made of these new planks, moving the damage slider from 0 to 1. As you can see, we could now create piers in several states of decay. But what about totally broken planks? Why not add a few? Kostas created the 7th and final plank. This one was barely half the size of the rest. At first, I added it to the pool of damaged planks. The result was not very pleasing. Completely broken planks would either appear too much or too little. We needed more user control, so I decided it would be better to use different parameters specifically for these planks. One would decide what percentage of the pier would be made exclusively of these planks, and the other would be a random seed that would re-roll which planks were broken. This gave us enough control to find just the right amount of broken planks. Controlling broken planks. At this point, I was happy with the planks, and decided to move to other parts of the pier. The support beams were the most straightforward of the parts. I created a beam for each side of the pier that spanned its entire length. I added parameters for how close the beams would be together, how much A, D extrude from the pier, and their relative height from the planks. The support beams with the plank. At this point, I realized I was only one rotation away from making railroad tracks, 2 birds with 1 stone. Now that the main body was ready, it was time to move on to the poles that would keep it above water. Kostas had already created a simple pole model. I created 2 more lines with their own distribution and instantiated the pole on the points. Now, that looks like a pier. As you can see, we were getting closer to a usable asset. But still, it was obvious we needed more poles. Not only that, but we needed the middle poles to be different than those at the edges. Kostas went ahead and made a couple of white poles for the edges of the pier and 3 distinct poles for the rest. For the first and last point of each line, I chose one of the white poles randomly. For the rest, I chose one of the thin poles.